Coming up on Look Today, well, the Saratoga Springs City Charter Review Commission votes unanimously to change the charter. I've got details. And Cafe Lena prepares to reopen after renovations and upgrades that took more than a year to complete. More on that coming up. And CWI Inc. held a rally to increase wages in New York State. I've got those details. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm Jay Hood Jackson and this is Look Today. In tonight's program, I sit down with Dwayne Vaughn. He's the new Executive Director of the Tri-County United Way, and he's here to talk about the organization and the important work they do in the community. And this is the first interview in our Look Who Cares series. I also sat down with Alex Jones. She's a first night coordinator in Saratoga, and she's joined by Erin Harks. She's a musician and comedian who will be performing in Saratoga on first night. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. In our lead story, we have updates on the Saratoga Springs City Charter Review process. Now, in the last 6 months, the commission, appointed by Mayor Joanne Yepsen, has met to discuss possible revisions to the city charter. Well, guess what? In a unanimous vote, after a lot of due diligence, in a unanimous vote, 15-0, the commission will draft a new charter that could present an alternative form of government to the current commission form. Wow. Options for new government do include a mayor, council, or manager council form. Now, we spoke to Bob Turner. He's the chair of the commission.
City Charter Commission voted 15-0 to draft a new charter to change the form of government. It was a historic vote, I think. It came at the end of 6 months of study in interviewing elected officials, department heads, and citizens about what they wanted and expected in a city charter.
Now, as many of you know, we have been covering this story pretty extensively and will continue to do so. It is an historic moment in Saratoga. All right, in other news, Cafe Lena in Saratoga has been closed for a year for renovations. The historic venue is undergoing upgrades that will include an elevator and a lobby. The cafe is now slated to reopen, a soft open, on December 30th. A new entranceway will also allow musicians to move their equipment much more efficiently to the upstairs room. Well, we spoke to Sarah Craig. She's the executive director of Cafe Lena.
That is going to house a stairwell that wraps around, goes up to our second floor lobby, but it also has in it an elevator, which is just life-changing for us. So that elevator is going to serve Cafe Lena, and it's also going to serve the apartment dwellers in the new building.
Now, I did an extensive interview with Sarah earlier this week. I know we're going to run it again, but you can also watch it on our website, looktvonline.com. And that project, by the way, involves Sonny Bonaccio and Bonaccio Construction. All right, switching from news to weather. After the region got some snow, guess what? The temperatures dropped. Boy, did they drop this morning into the teens. Let's see how the rest of the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast. Back to the news. Well, CWI Inc., and that stands for Community Work and Independence Inc., held a rally today to highlight the hashtag Be Fair to Direct Care campaign. And the rally took place at the Glens Falls Civic Center. Now, the campaign calls for a funding increase in the New York State budget for wages and underpaid staff. And we spoke to Mark Donahue. He's the CEO of CWI.
We are bringing to the North Country the Be Fair to Direct Care campaign rally that we're doing statewide wherever possible to just bring educational awareness to the general public and advocacy to the legislature in Albany to raise awareness that as much as there's a push for minimum wage going up and fast food workers taken care of, we have a crisis going on in human service field.
We also spoke to Michael C. Ryder. He's the president and CEO of New York State Rehabilitation Association.
To invest in the organizations that provide supports and services to people with disabilities across this state. As Mark said earlier, these organizations are essentially facing a workforce crisis. Their ability to recruit and retain qualified individuals to do the work of supporting individuals with disabilities is the fabric of what these organizations are.
Up next, I sit down with Dwayne Vaughn. He's the new executive director, Tri-County United Way. He's here to talk about the organization and the important work that they do in the community. It's extensive. And by the way, this is the first interview in our Look Who Cares series. Plus, I also sit down with Alex Jones. She's a first night coordinator in Saratoga. And we're joined by Erin Harks. She's a musician and comedian who will be performing in Saratoga on first night. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea. How about join us for an interview? Give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. I've got a couple lookouts. I got an interesting email from a viewer who said, I'd like to know, I keep seeing this little reindeer with sunglasses on the set with you, and I'd like to know what that's about. Actually, I don't see any reindeer at all. Andrew, you, Jesselyn, you see any reindeer? No, we don't see any reindeer, so we don't really know what that person is talking about. Some other lookouts. I've turned my page, so let me do that. Oh, a reminder, West Mountain is opening this weekend. I'd first gotten an email from them saying it was last weekend, and I guess the weather wasn't cooperating enough. But this weekend, we've got the weather, they've got the snow, so please take part in a bunch of festivities going on at West Mountain in Glens Falls, on the other side of Glens Falls. The other thing I want to tell you about is the series that I mentioned in the news called Look Who Cares. This is an opportunity for us we do so many interviews here, and everyone here at Look TV selected an organization that they would like to highlight during the time of giving. So it's an opportunity for you to get to meet the staff here at Look Media, and also an opportunity for us to do an interview with that organization. So we'll be doing that now until Christmas, all right? Tonight on Look TV, it's sold. That's our call-in auction program. And don't forget, tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.